everyone! Welcome to my first official episode of This Japan Life.
What's This Japan Life?
Well, I'll tell you. The idea of This Japan Life is a video blog, aka vlog, for you hip people out there. This vlog is going to be, hopefully, in an ideal world, an interesting collection of my experiences in Japan, anecdotes, a little bit of research put into it, and also it's going to be a lot of me figuring out how to use iMovie.
Sounds stupid.
Well, okay, that's a little introduction about me, although most of you watching this probably already know this, but it's just for official business. I've lived in Japan for 7 years now, which is insane because I'm 27 years old, which means that I've spent almost all of my 20s in Japan. I did a 9-month study abroad. That was my first experience in Japan. Then I came on the JET program to the middle of countryside nowhere, which I love. And then I moved to another city for about 9 months after 3 years as an ALT on the JET program. And then I came back to this lovely town that I live in because it's the most beautiful town in the world. It's surrounded by mountains and it's close to the sea and it has all this history and culture. And then she proceeded to gush about her town for the next 20 minutes. So yeah, today I just want to talk a little bit about being a foreigner in Japan because I'm sure that there are some people out there who want to know what life is like here. I was the only foreigner in my town when I came here 5 years ago, which leaves a pretty big impression on people who have never seen a foreigner. One of my first memories of coming to this town was being in my car and I was stopped at a red light and I look over and there's a group of like 4 people standing around talking about something I'm not sure about, something to do with light stuff. Streets. I don't know. They had clipboards, so they looked pretty official. I looked back to the road, and then I looked over again, and one of the guys had turned around, 100% around, and was looking at me. And I was like, I looked back, and when I looked back again, about 10 seconds later, all 4 Japanese people had turned to just look at the foreigner sitting in her car at the red light. I just smiled and I kind of like, oh no, everything's falling apart. Start bowing and smiling and they all smile and wave, and that was one of my first weeks in this tiny, tiny town, this little mountain town in the middle of nowhere, Japan. The wonderful thing about being in Japan as a foreigner is that people are impressed by anything that you do. I was walking to the station once and I was crossing paths with an older gentleman and I just kind of like, konnichiwa, and then he was like, "Nihongo jouzu desu ne." Anything you say or do, people are really quick to compliment you, which is great for the ego. Things I can do that surprise people. Read hiragana, katakana, and kanji. Use chopsticks. Write the address I've been living at for over a year and a half in Japanese. It's really adorable, and I think some people really get sick of it, and I know I definitely did. When I was living in the larger city, it became more of a hassle because I was living in a town at the time that had a lot of foreigners coming in as tourists. So even if I came in to order something in Japanese, the waiter would switch to English because they see tourists all the time and they think they're doing me a favor. But I'm like, no, I live here. I know the language. I'm studying your culture. I understand. When you live in the countryside, everyone knows you're definitely not a tourist because what would you be doing here? Going to the beautiful Tateyama Kurobe Alpine route, as well as the historical and cultural area of Ashikura-ji area. Things that you can enjoy as a tourist in my town are... And she proceeded to talk about Tateyama town for an additional 10 minutes. So yeah, you tend to stand out a little bit in the countryside, but for the most part, I love it here. You don't live in a country for 7 years and hate it. I hope that I will be able to bring interesting experiences to the table on this YouTube channel. I've kept a vlog in the past before, but it was very intermittent and not structured at all. It went in accompaniment with my official blog, Land of the Rising Blogger. But this time I'm hoping to have some kind of structure because I want to create something. I want to put it out in the world. And yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. So tune in next time for the next episode of This Japan Life. It was the first time in YouTube history that a video managed to get negative 110 views.